Never again shall we march like sheep to the slaughter. Never again shall we sit and take orders, stripped of our culture, robbed of.
So believe it or not, y'all, and I hope you believe it, a lot of experts say that the U.S., our country, is closer to the Civil War than any time before, like today. And what they cite is, you see, a couple of weeks ago, a couple of generals, retired generals, published a report. And the report stated that there's a high chance of the breakdown in the chain of command in the U.S. military along political lines. You see, the people in the military, they're allowed to have their own personal political views, but they're not allowed to kind of, allow that to affect, the chain of command. As long as the order is given legally, according to the Constitution, the people in the military are supposed to follow that order. But there are a lot of concerns today with military people high in the military that may not happen, too much longer, especially after the next election coming up in 2024. They're saying that, there's a high likelihood in the breakdown of the chain of command along partisan lines. What's that mean? That means that this country today is divided politically, like deeply divided, right? Half the country, 40% of the country believes that the election was stolen and that Trump is the rightful president of the United States. Like 40% of not of the country, but 40% of the Republican Party believes that. And they believed it so hard that on January 6th, they initiated what we all know of is the insurrection. They literally tried to overthrow the duly elected president, Joe Biden, and install Trump as the president. That's shit that you hear about over in other countries, third world countries. This is the shit you hear about. But this is the shit that happened to us just last year. And now there's all these warnings going out by experts and ex-CIA people, ex-military people high up, that there's a real possibility of a civil war in America. A lot of the things, in fact, there's this article, pose a finding that over 30% of Republicans are saying that it's okay to use violence against the government. Now, remember my last show that, we know what the government is. The government is the people. The government is regular people, like just regular old people that go to work and try to do the best at whatever they're doing, just like the rest of us. That's who the government is. I mean, it's not a robot. We're going to overthrow the government. Who you going to that's people. Like, how you going to do that? But over 30% Republicans are saying today that that violence is justified in that, when it comes to that sort of thing. Generals are warning that there may be a breakdown in the chain of command according to political lines in our military, the most powerful military in the world. I told you the other day that we spend 10 times more on our military than any other country. Than the next biggest country next to us. We spend 10 times more than them on our military. So our military is in danger, maybe in danger of breaking them down along lines. What if think about it, what if half the military thinks that Trump is president for real and refuses to take any orders from Biden? That's kind of scary. But the military are people too. But I mean, this is, people are talking about that, man. Just be aware. What I mean? I'm not saying, I think it's a small chance. I think, more Republicans and more people are starting to come around and understand what's going on and starting to push back against a lot of that bullshit. But I just want y'all to be aware that people are talking about civil war in the United States, literally. Literally, people are talking about civil war. I know most of us are not paying attention to that, but there's enough people. Most people are not even paying attention to that stuff, but it's happening right underneath them as we go out and enjoy our lives and affect people with COVID. Whatever. No. Most of us don't even understand how close this country is to civil war. I mean, just last year, they tried to overthrow the government. And by overthrow the government, I mean, remove the people that the majority of the country elected to run the government, remove them from those positions and install who they believed, who they wanted to be in those positions. That's what it means. I mean, what happens, if that actually happens? Okay. Let's say, for argument's sake, Trump becomes president. Trump, it happened. Let's say it worked. For argument's sake. Then what? I mean, are we going to have another election? Why? Why do we have another election if it doesn't matter? Right? Just make the fucking rules and the rest of us will do the best we can to abide by them. Just don't kill us. And I mean that. Like, this is how these things happen. So, I mean, it could happen. However small of a chance, it could happen. And experts are saying this. Experts are saying it. This is not me throwing out some conspiracy theory. These are experts, military experts. These are, people who used to work for the CIA who did nothing but study civil wars in other countries. This is what they're saying, that here in this country, we are exhibiting a lot of the early signs of a country that's headed towards civil war. And it has a lot to do with the extreme right wing, white nationalists, and all those folks. Now, in a lot of ways, I'm going to be really honest. In a lot of ways, I sympathize with some of those people because if you just spend a moment and, if you put on their shoes for a minute and, if you're just a regular white person and all you hear, and this is not all you hear, but this is all the news that you listen to tell you that, you're the problem, that, that you're the evil and all these things. I can understand how that can build up in some resentment in a lot of white people. I can understand how a lot of white people are seeing the world change in front of them, where, they're used to people that only look like them be in power and you have things and all these other things, and they're starting to see other people that don't necessarily look like them have those things as well. And, I guess that bothers them. But, from their point of view, I mean, whatever they're thinking, these people are upset. They're so upset that they marched their ass into the Capitol on January 6, 2021. And they had full intentions on overthrowing the government. They had full intentions. And when it didn't work, they marched their ass out, jumped on their bus, or in their car, in their airplane, they flew, they went home and went to bed, safe and sound.
Never again. Never again. The final solution.
So yeah, we're close. I mean, according to these experts, there could be a chance. Be aware. You know what it is. It's your boy Charles with SoRatch. Just be you. Be comfortable in your own skin, and people will love you for it. Until next time, peace. Oh yeah, don't forget to check me out on SoRatch Radio on Live 365.